Hello, everyone. Hi. I'm so excited for today, and I'm so happy that you're here. I'm going to open the chat and take a look and see who's here saying hi. And if you want to reply to everyone, then make sure in the chat bar that you're selecting panelists and attendees so everyone can see your notes here. And I just wanted to hear from you and see where you're coming from in the world so that we can all kind of get a sense of where we are and feel into each other. So I see Betty from the Netherlands and Dave, hi, from Wales, and Linda from Canada, Medicine Hat, Canada, wow. Kathy from California, hey, Kathy. Barbara from Portugal. Hi, Barbara. Rebecca from San Francisco. Hello. Leslie from Ontario. Jean from California, Central Coast. Ben from Columbus. Hi, Ben. Tanya from Boulder Creek, Santa Cruz Mountains. Sounds amazing. Hi from Ariane in Germany. Christy in Didsbury, Alberta. Kelly from Taos, New Mexico. Oh, Luis from Barcelona, Spain. Deborah from Maryland. And there's so many more greetings here. I'm going to take it all in and I'm going to come back. I see you all and I'm going to look at those again later. But I'm sure you're ready to get started. My name is Tami Mensh, and if you attended the Emerging Consciousness Global Online Festival, then you may be familiar with me and my work. I was the creator and host of the event, and it was amazing. And I know many of you came here through that, and I'm so happy that we're continuing this journey together. I'm a transformative life and spiritual business coach. And a lot of times people will say to me, what's a transformative business coach or a transformative life coach? And the best way for me to describe it is like a comic that I saw a while back. And it was a comic strip of two goldfish swimming in a fishbowl. And one goldfish looks at the other goldfish and says, hey, how's the water? And the other goldfish says, what water? And so what that says to me is a lot of times we are swimming in water and behaving and doing things that we don't even realize. So transformative coaching, it really shows you what the water that you're swimming in and gives you a new perspective. And a lot of times there's just, no going back. Once you see that, it's like emerging consciousness. So today we are here to talk for about an hour, maybe a little bit more, about moving from chaos into clarity using the Kaleidoscope Theory. And many of us in today's society are overthinking. We're overwhelmed. We have a repetitive thought loop that makes us stuck and it creates this feeling of chaos. And so during my master's program, I developed a model called Kaleidoscope Theory to help break through that chaos into clarity, to help us make better decisions, get better perspective. And this article, about Kaleidoscope Theory was featured in Choice, a coaching magazine, and I use it a lot in my coaching and in my life, and my clients use it too. And in the opening session of the Emerging Consciousness Festival, where we talked about white space and opening to receptivity. And that is the first phase of the Kaleidoscope theory. And there are 4 phases of it. And so through this webinar, I'm going to really give you some practical examples of how to use this model to get out of your head and into your heart, to bring your conditioned tendencies into your conscious awareness, to get unstuck, and to make more intuitive body-centered decisions right now. And then in a little bit later, I'm going to introduce you to an exciting new program where you can go deeper into this work and so much more. And if you enjoyed the Emerging Consciousness Festival with its diverse mix of topics and eclectic speakers, you are going to love this because I've put it all in a special learning lab for you. And I've added a very life-changing opportunity incorporated into that program that I'm going to share with you that you are going to want to know about. So I'm excited for that to come too. And I will also, in this webinar, guide you through a creative decision-making process. And you can make a decision, a quick and intuitive decision, right then and there in that moment. And then we will end with a Q&A. So now, let us begin. And I always like to begin my sessions by entering the ritual space and really taking a deep breath together. And really arriving. So I'm going to light this candle so that we can enter that space together. And may this flame represent and ignite our insight. May it spark our curiosity and our creativity. And may it illuminate our path. So you may be asking, why Kaleidoscope? What's your fascination with Kaleidoscope, Tami? And I have this kaleidoscope right here that I love that my dad gave me, and we're going to refer to this. To me, every person carries a story or an understanding based on their own experience, that shapes you. And viewed individually, it can be fractured or fragmented. And these shifting shapes, when viewed together, can be beautiful and multifaceted and create a more holistic picture with a wider lens perspective. So to enter into the kaleidoscope theory, we can use this kaleidoscope as a metaphor. And when we look in through the little hole here, I think you can see a little bit in there. We are the viewer or the experiencer. And what is happening here is the experience. It's a mix of what is entering our field of resonance. It's our senses, it's our emotions, it's what's happening in our lives. And so when we can take a step back and realize that we are the experiencer, not the experience, then we can begin to gain some new perspective and not become tangled and enmeshed in what's happening, but let it float by, let it come and go without attachment. And so it's like we are the sky, and what passes by is the weather. And so the Martha Graham is a famous choreographer and dancer, and she is famous for saying, you know, the body does not lie. This weather, it tells the weather of the soul. And so we are going to be calling on our different intelligences, getting out of our heads and into our other modalities, our heart, our soul, our spirit, all of those transpersonal things, in order to inform us, rather than relying just on the mechanism of the thinking, intelligent, beautiful mind that we need and that works so hard for us. But we can recruit other things to help us to make decisions and to look at our lives in a new way. It's almost like when you're wearing glasses and you're seeing through these lenses, and everything that you see, you don't realize you're looking at it through these lenses, just like the goldfish swimming in the water. And when we take these glasses off and we separate ourselves as the experiencer versus the experience, we can step around, we can walk around it, we could see different views, different angles, and not become entangled with what's happening here. So this objectivity that I'm talking about is how we can move from chaos to clarity, because we're able to distinguish between the chaos and our own selves. We're able to be versatile and shift, making conscious shift and changes through the different phases. And this will make us be able to respond with more awareness. And I'm going to give you some really great examples of that, and as we go through the kaleidoscope theory. So I'm going to share my screen now, and I'm just going to give you a let's see here. Oops. Let me try one thing. Okay. Can you see my screen? I am going to pull up the chat to see if I can see that. Can you see the screen? Great. Thank you. Thank you, Ben and Deborah and Baba. Thank you. It's when you're in webinar mode, it's hard to see what's going on behind the scenes. So thanks. Here is an overview of the kaleidoscope model. So as you can see in the center, this is the self. It's like that viewer that I showed you. And then what's going around are these 4 phases. And we have white space, spin, sift, and synthesize. And unfortunately, I can't make this any bigger right now, but I'll be happy to send you the slides after the presentation. So hang with me during this. I hope this can work for you. So we have here, and so you can take it all in, the whole process all together in one place. And then if we're going to break it down to go over each step or each phase, here is a kind of a roadmap. And I'm just going to touch on each one, and then we're going to dive in to each one separately and really explore them together. So the first phase is white space. And that is the blank page, a fresh start. It's clarity or the unknown. Then we can move in to spin, where we bring ideas and thoughts and things start to enter. And that can become a generative swirling of ideas and shifting patterns of possibility. And sometimes we go into overdrive in this phase and start to recycle our thoughts or overthink. So then we move into sift, which is an organizational phase where we use discernment to sift or sort through options, weighing their value. And then we come to synthesize, which is the integrated product, the final form or resolution. And then we can begin again. And this is how we transform. And this is how we make sure that we don't have any roadblocks along the way and get stuck in one phase or the other. Now, I have a chart that I put into the email that I sent out about 30 minutes ago. And I'm also going to put it in the chat here. And you can use this. It's totally optional. Thanks, Deb. Deb put it in the chat for me. I appreciate that. And it's totally optional. And if you are that kind of learner where you want to fill in a chart and you want to take notes along the way, you can take this link and open a separate browser and paste it in there, and you can type right in it. Or you can just hang out and listen and receive and enjoy. And I will send out this form later with the replay so that you can revisit it and dig in a little bit deeper on your own if you want. Just to go over this a little bit quickly, either for the people filling out the chart or the people that are taking notes for your own self-reflection. Across the columns, across the top, we have a column for each: white space, spin, sift, and synthesize. So as we go through and kind of explore each of the different phases, you can ask yourself the questions on the left for each. How does this phase feel? What words describe this phase for you? How comfortable are you in this phase? Meaning, how often do you stay there? Is it part of your job? Do you live in this space? And a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being one being, that not very much, and 10 being a lot. And then, how hard is it to get out of that, get into that phase? How easy is it for you to shift in on a scale of 1 to 10? How hard is it for you to shift out of it? How much time, how often are you there? Always, frequently, sometimes, never. And under what circumstances do you find yourself in these? In stress, on vacation? And when you want to shift, how can you set the reset button? So let these questions you can reflect on these as we go through each of the phases. So, white space. And white space is that blank page, the fresh start. In creativity, it could be incubation. And if you would like to, you can put your own words in the chat that express it for you. And when you're in white space, it might feel very peaceful or calm when it's balanced. And then when life happens, or different weather, emotions, sensations, situations, or demands come in, that weather may shift. So one way to begin to recognize the signals of overuse, meaning, are you overusing white space? Is it may be spending too much time in not balanced in white space? Things could come up for you, you could recognize it because you could feel a stagnation, an apathy, a boredom, an emptiness. And when you're underusing white space, maybe you need a little bit more of it, you could feel stress or burnout, or like you just don't have enough time or space for reflection. And when you're in balance, it feels like clarity, calmness, and seeing this fresh start with optimism. So I'm just going to breathe into this space because that's what it's all about. And we're going to move on to the next phase, which is spin. And so spinning is a generative swirling of ideas or thoughts, shifting patterns of possibility. It could feel like Google overload. And there are ways to initiate spin, ways to activate it. And there are ways to kind of release it and let it go. And it's the same for white space too. And so in my program that we're going to talk about, we really get into the different techniques and methods and practices to make those shifts. And and imprint the new learning with experiential exercises. So spinning can be seen for some people as positive. Wow, it's idea generating, it's exciting, things are popping, you know. Or it could be negative. They could feel negative. It may be overwhelming, and you want to get out of it. So how can we control it, and how can we move it so that we are the one that's creating this for ourselves rather than it controlling us? And so signals of overuse, when you have maybe too much in going on in the spin phase, you may feel overthinking, or overwhelm, or indecision, or confusion, or you're not seeing clearly. You know, you're recycling those thoughts and it's going over and over. And when you're not using enough in the spin phase, when you're not there enough, it could feel like a lack of possibilities. It could feel like low creativity, that you're not stimulated enough. When you're balanced in spin, then it feels like, you know, just the right amount of stimulation and potential, and that flow of the creative juices are flowing. And so artists and people that are creative and trying to come up with ideas and solutions want to activate that sometimes. And some people that are overwhelmed by it want to turn it down. And so there are different ways to do that. And for me, when I'm trying to initiate it, I will introduce multidisciplinary things like music or exercise, or read a lot of different books at once, or infuse someone else's ideas with mine and find connections. And the way that we can kind of release it and let some of it go is to do a brain dump or mind mapping or journaling, or even return back to white space, you know, through meditation and through walking in nature, and those things that give us that sense of peace and calm and openness. And so then the next phase, you know, what do we do with all of this spinning energy? The next phase is called Sift. And Sift is the organizational phase. It's when you're sorting through options and weighing their value, just like this diamond in the sand here, you know, really combing for those gems in all of those thoughts, taking what is good and leaving what is bad. And so the sift phase is important to organization and getting things done. It's where you take those ideas from the visionary space or from the idea generating or idea thought flowing space, and we put it into some kind of order. And so when you're overusing Sift and you're too much into that organization and order, it could feel like you're getting stuck into too many details, that you're becoming rote or routine, and that you're not seeing the big picture. And signals of underuse could feel like you're making decisions too quickly. You know, you're without considering the options. You feel like you can't focus, and it's kind of, you're acting with some impulsivity. When sifting is in balance, then you feel productive, but yet free at the same time. And you can zoom in or zoom out. And so when you're trying to activate and sift, something you can ask yourself is, you know, do a values assessment, and what is important to me here, and how can I align with that? And then we come to the fourth phase in the kaleidoscope process, which is synthesize. And this is the phase of integration, where you bring it all together into a form or a resolution. And so if you are living in that synthesized space too much, it could feel stabilizing, but it could, in overuse, it could lead to rigidity. This is the way we've always done things, and too much need for closure and closing off options. And so in underuse, when you're maybe ready to synthesize and you're not, getting there, you're not getting that closure when you need it. It could feel like a fear of commitment, leaving things unfinished or disjointed, or that what you're learning is really not sticking for you. When you are in a balance of synthesis, then it feels like integration. It feels like meaning making. It feels like taking, action in the form of a confident resolution. So I know that was the whirlwind tour of the phases, and I'm going to stop sharing now and give you some practical examples of these phases and how to use them in everyday life, especially in the way I use it in coaching, or the way you can use it in creativity or psychedelic integration, or through transforming through the different phases of your life. I have an example of a client that I was coaching, and we're going to call her Amy. And at the beginning of her session, she said, I don't even know why I'm even meeting with you. I don't have the time for this. I have a presentation that's due and I'm exhausted. I'm just so overwhelmed. I really don't know if I can take the time to do this. And I said, would you like to use this session to work through this? And she's like, okay, sure. Okay, yeah, that would be great. I need to do something because I'm in overdrive in that Google rabbit hole. So we started with some breathing and just really came into the space together. And then she told me what was going on, a little bit about what she was working on, trying to research all of these different healthcare policies, and was just getting lost in the detail. And it kept growing and getting bigger and bigger. The more she learned, the more she realized that she needed to know. And it was very overwhelming. And she felt she would never make this deadline. And so we started using some sifting techniques. And it was clear to me that she was in spin. And I'm like, we've got to get Amy into Sift and get her moving through, get her unstuck out of this phase. And so we went through some sifting exercises where we identified what is the most important thing that you can do right now and get the most bang out of the buck. And what exactly is your client expecting? What does your client need the most that you need to deliver? Maybe you don't need to understand all of the ins and outs of this right now, but you can really just track in and think, what does this client want to know? What do they need to know to make this decision? And so she ended up coming up with 4 things. And she's like, wow, all right, if I can just figure out these 4 things, then I'm good. And she's so I said, all right, so now let's move into synthesize this. Let's synthesize this and get you ready for this form, this resolution to integrate this, because she was exhausted. And so we used some creative movement and some got her pumped up, and crawled in some driver energy and got her juices flowing. And so she felt like she had the whole package together now, exactly what she needed to do. And we ended the session 15 minutes early because she was good to go. So it really helped to bring her out of that chaos into clarity so that she could move forward. Another example of using the kaleidoscope phases in creativity is in if you're going to write a book or a paper. I know we have a lot of writers here. And you literally start in white space with the blank page. And you either have ideas that you spin and you throw all over it, or you need to activate those those juices, those ideas in some way. And then you put them all onto the page, you get everything out, you sift through it, you determine what ideas, what's good, what's supporting the purpose of what you're doing. And then it's synthesized, you synthesize it into a finished paper or a finished product. And you can think about how different situations in your life where this might be useful. One last example I'm going to give you is in psychedelic integration. And psychedelic integration is, when you in psychedelics, using them is when you intentionally and in ceremony use plant medicine for awakening, for instead of for recreational purposes. So if you're going to intentionally use plant medicine, you can use this kaleidoscope model in these phases, where the white space is where you're grounding yourself and you're setting your intention before the journey. And then the spinning, could be the journey itself. It could feel very spinning what's going on in the journey. And then you take a look as you're, after the journey is ending, and what was really coming through to me, what stands out from this experience, and what is meaningful from what I just went through. And then you can synthesize it together and pick out the jewels and put it together to integrate it, and think about, how did what I just learned, how can I incorporate that in my daily life to transform and change in a really meaningful way. So those are some ways that you can practically apply this theory, and you may be thinking of many others on your own. And so in the creative decision making freebie that some of you found, and you can find it on my website, it's on tamimensh.com. I have a free guide that gives you some of these techniques and tricks that get you out of your mind and get you into your intuition, into your different intelligences to make decisions. So you're not relying just on this one thing. And at the end, I'm going to take you through one of those quick techniques near the end of this presentation. And in that very moment, you're going to be able to make an intuitive decision using the technique, and I'm going to guide you through it. So that'll be interesting. For now, I'd like to share with you. Well, first, let me stop. And let me see if there are anything that's coming up for you that you want to write in the chat that I can address right now, that may be about one of the phases, or how you feel, or maybe if you took a look at your notes, maybe where you feel that you're spending a lot of time, or that you're getting stuck. And if you want to talk about this at, off chat, offline, then you can reach out to me on my website. There's a place on there to schedule a free 30-minute exploratory session with me, and we can dive into it together for 30 minutes if you'd prefer to do it like that. Oh, Tanya, thanks for your comment, Tanya. She says, it seems like if intuition is something that shouldn't be complicated, because we know the mind is complicated, then it sounds like the question has to be a yes or no question, and very simple. Yes, that's a really good point. And when you're trying to figure something out, it starts with a question. What is meaningful for me here? What do I want to have happen here? What is my next step here? And you make the question as clear as you can. And that's part of really being able to listen. And Ben, oh, thanks. Deb loves the analogy to writing a book. And yeah, I think it really does follow that really, really well. Ben says, based on my initial notes, white space and spin are where I naturally want to be. Oh, okay, I see your asterisk there. White space and sift are where I naturally want to be. Spin and synthesizing can be overwhelming and negative for me. Yes, and that's that question of where are you most comfortable? And that can tell you a little bit about your personality and about other opportunities for growth. And hey, it's cool if you're naturally, your native genius is in, and your comfort zone is in white space and in sift. And if you want to grow into more potential and be able to access different energies, then you can use different techniques and be aware of, oh, I need to spin right now. How can I do that? It's time for me to synthesize and make a whole. How do I do that? It's time for me to do that now. I've been sifting, long enough. I've been in white space long enough. So I hope that helps. Betty says, the growing is so uncomfortable at times and hard to make decisions. Yes, Betty. That's why I've done this work. I'm with you. It is uncomfortable. And knowing that these phases you are the sky and this is the weather that's passing by, it can help you to better direct and to not, rather than have you take control, rather than the control taking of you. And I'm going to be able to share some ways to make decisions. There are ways you can listen to your heart. You can listen to your gut. There are so many different ways to that your inner wisdom is communicating with you that can help you make decisions. You don't have to always think it through. I think there are other senses that we can call in to get us out of that uncomfortable. And the growing is hard. Yeah, it is. So thank you for that. Great comments. And now I would like to share with you a really, really exciting opportunity. And if you loved the Emerging Consciousness Global Online Festival, you are really going to love this. I'm going to share my screen and take you to my website. And can you see this? Can you see this on the website? Okay, yes, thank you for letting me know. Thanks, everybody. Great. So if you go to tamimensh.com and you'll find a tab called Learning Lab. And I'm going to take you through it. I'm going to describe this to you here and share this with you, but you could feel free to go onto the website. And Deb has just posted a link in the chat. Thank you, that you can open a new tab and look at it there and at your own pace, or, follow along with me. So the Emerging Consciousness Festival was at the intersection of science and psychology and spirituality and mysticism and the arts. And so I put together all of these beautiful different modalities into this amazing program. And it's the Kaleidoscope Lounge Learning Lab. So I've created a learning lab where you can experience so many different types of wisdom and taking action in your life. And it's called a transformational journey of self-mastery and leadership. And I want to tell you why I called it that. So it's a transformational journey because it's a whole transformational arc. And it's about self-mastery and how do we utilize all of our capacities. And leadership could mean different things. It could mean, yes, executive leadership, but it's also about your personal power, taking leadership in your life and what that could mean at different stages. You could be starting out. What does leadership look like when you're starting out? What does it look like in parenthood? What does it look like in a project? What does it look like in elderhood? So I've created this multidisciplinary approach to harnessing the power of the world's wisdom traditions combined with cutting edge coaching. And this is a really, really powerful, powerful program. And I will be your guide, and we're going to explore different themes. And it's going to be in a year-long transformational arc. And I'm going to tell you about it. We're going to really play in this, and I'm going to share all these exciting, juicy, tasty delights that I have for you planned. So, the Kaleidoscope Lounge and this learning lab is a place where curious people come together for fearless and experiential learning. And this is where, in this learning lab, this is going to come to life. So why did I highlight curious? It's because curious is where the spark of passion begins, and learning, it's the beginning of learning something new. So this is calling in people that are curious or want to be curious again. And fearless. Why is this for fearless? Why do we need to be fearless? It's because you have to be fearless to overcome obstacles, to break through your comfort zone, to focus and look face to face your blind spots and your conditioned tendencies and take the plunge into new areas. And experiential is so important because we learn by doing, through direct experience in a multi-sensory, multi-dimensional way that's multimodal. And this is how we imprint new learnings in our heart and in our bodies. And that's what this learning lab is all about. So, and it's done in a group dynamic, in a very robust, vibrant, supportive community. So you're able to amplify the results together. And so we're going to be asking some really big life-changing questions, like where are you now? What's emerging? What is possible? And what is next? And what's the way forward? The program structure is very unique. It's a 12-month program that is going to open your mind and body and soul and lead you into living your fullest purpose and fullest expression. So it's been designed as a transformational arc where we use in modalities such as imagination, thought-provoking inquiry, accessing nature, music, all things to bring us closer to our authentic selves. It's a highly interactive and embodied and experiential, and has concepts and practices that you can use immediately. And it's going to be full of surprises. So the way that I have split this up is in the first half, we're going to be looking inward and working on your own self-development, uncovering your own true gifts and passions. We'll have guest speakers, just like at the Emerging Consciousness Festival, that will join us for special presentations in such things as astrology, emotional decluttering, ceremonial cacao, breathing practices, and positive intelligence. And then the next 6 months, you're going to be invited to bring those gifts that you uncovered into the world in a way that feels right to you. You'll begin to create your vivid vision of the future and live into it right away, and use the foundation in part 1 to elevate your communication, leadership, and decision-making ability in a supportive container. And you might even feel called to share a presentation of your own with the group to ignite your own evolutionary development. Now, I've limited this to 30 people, so to ensure intimacy and personalized attention. And this is going to fill very, very quickly. And it starts on April 15th, and the registration will be open from now until the 9th. So I'm going to feel free to schedule a discovery call with me if you want to talk more about it. I want to just share with you some of this some of this dynamic curriculum, because it is really going to liberate your mind and take you into a lot of new directions. I think you're going to find it really, really cool. And let me just walk you through a couple of the highlights. So the first part, in part 1, we have spirit. It's called Inward Bound, and it's a spiritual cross training. And we're going to begin that time together with a sacred opening. So each of these, we're going to be doing a year long. We're going to meet twice a month for about 90 minutes. So there'll be 24 sessions. And this is what the 24 sessions are going to encompass. So we enter into the sacred journey of collective consciousness together with an opening where we step into our sacred yes. And when you do that, when you step fully into your yes, it's amazing how doors just fly open for you. And we're going to get to know you're going to get to know the people in your cohort on a deep, authentic level. We're going to do fun things like share your musical theme song to set intentions. So it's going to be a really great grounding beginning for all of us. And we're going to move into lab 1, where we're going to awaken spirituality. We enliven your spirit and deepen your soul. And whether you've been practicing, having a rich, strong spiritual life for a long time, or it's something that is there beneath the surface that you want to dig deeper into, there's going to be something here for everyone. I'm going to introduce you to a variety of spiritual practices, and you can share yours with us. We're going to experiment with different meditation styles, because different things are right for different people, and play in the field of ritual and presence and spaciousness. And you're going to design, your spiritual life. And we're also going to be establishing accountability so that you can take responsibility, for yourself and moving forward. In lab 2, and we're going to awaken the love and heart. And if there was one thing that I took away from interviewing all of those amazing speakers in the festival, it's that they kept coming back in every different way, all the different perspectives, back to the heart and how we are disembodied, and that in order for us to manifest a better world moving forward, it has to be from the place of the heart. And we could all use a little bit more heart, as terms of expanding our capacity to live from that space and using that healing medicine from self-love. And what does self-love, really, really mean? And it might mean something different than you think it does. We'll be balancing our energies to maximize our power, going through guided visualizations and seeing through love, through the lenses of seeing, speaking, building, all with love. So that's going to be a very heart chakra opening lab as we move into awakening intuition and the senses. And so, we have more than 5 senses. And when we can activate and access more than 5 of our senses, this is where we truly live into our fullest potential. Those places that we don't even know we have, that even exist yet. And we're going to do that together and really delve into different ways of knowing through scope of perception, and dive into eco-spirituality, where we view nature as a mirror and living in harmony with the rhythms of the earth and the cosmos. And the next lab is awakening clarity. And this is very similar to what we did here in the Kaleidoscope, going through the Kaleidoscope phases together in this webinar. But we're going to dive deeper into it and actually use those techniques and smooth those transitions and experiment with all of these different decision-making techniques, coming through with a mandala of wholeness. In Lab 5, we awaken passion and purpose, finding your sacred groove and what's indigenous to your soul. And so we'll do some coaching demos that are really going to dial in and laser in on to reveal your purpose and uncover your native genius and unique soul print. And you'll declare your short passion and purpose statement. Then we move into stage 2. And I'm calling that outward bound. That's where we take what we've done, all the work that we've done, and put it out into the world. And I see that some people might want to go, Ben, feel free to come back to this webpage and visit or reach out to me with any questions. And for everyone else, hang in there for a minute, because I want to end this for you with that cool creative decision-making technique that I'm going to guide you through. And so I'll breeze through this part because you'll be able to read this on your own. But I want to explain that the outward bound piece is very strong, and it's really customized and tailored for what you need in your life. We're going to start off really powerfully by activating the visionary and your manifestation powers. You're going to learn what a vivid vision is and why you need it. And this is a process that I've taken countless clients through, and it's been life-changing every single time. And we're going to do that together. And you'll be able to literally author your future and begin living into it right then and there. In Lab 7, we awaken momentum. We break through any of the barriers, removing any resistance, and managing your inner saboteurs, so that we make freedom and space for this to all come alive. In Lab 8, we really get into the time with our cohort, and we have time where we can determine if this is business related, how to align with our ideal clients and connect with a like-hearted community. So we'll do some brainstorming and co-creation on behalf of a common cause or project or purpose into whatever degree or level you want. This will be personalized to you. And then we'll do some dream weaving, where we bring all of our dreams together, which leads us to awakening visibility, where you will express your unique magic and message. And this is where it gets really interesting. So we're going to be learning honest and clear communication style that you can use in storytelling. You may even want to take advantage of an opportunity to present and explore an idea that you might have been cooking or hadn't been able to take out of Sift into synthesize phase, or it's still in spin phase. And you're going to be able to teach it to us if you'd like. Work through a challenge or decision with the group to gain meaningful insight. And this is where you really have a chance in Lab 10 to awaken leadership, to really step into a bigger you, a bigger version of whatever that looks like for you. It doesn't necessarily mean more things. It means more you. And so you have the chance to develop a small prototype and use it. And if you're called, this is the big, unique, payoff here, if you choose to do this, is if you're called to do this, you will have the opportunity to apply to be a speaker at the Emerging Consciousness Global Online Festival 2022. And I know that how life-changing that can be. And this whole process will have prepared you for that moment, for you to share your gifts and your work with the world. And there are other tracks that you can take if that doesn't feel right to you. But if you feel ready after this year of everything we've done to step into that, then the opportunity is going to be there for you. And then we'll close it together. Now you're probably wondering, how much is this? I'm sure that's a big question for you. And I've designed this to be an immersive 12-month program and a full long year experience to receive optimum benefits. And so for the year, your personal commitment, is required to this program and to yourself. And what I've done, since this is the very founding member process of this, the founding member cohort, I'm offering it at a 50% off introductory price that will not be offered again. And that price is, for level 1, it's $147 a month for 12 months. That is extremely valuable for all that you will receive, including the coaching and the cohort experience. So that includes the full online program and learning lab as shown as the curriculum. Or you can choose to do level 2, which is $197 for 12 months. And this includes everything in level 1, plus 3 one-on-one coaching sessions with me when you need them most. Now, this is going to fill up very quickly at this price with only 30 spots available. And I'm also offering an immediate action bonus. For the first 3 people to register will receive a free 45-minute coaching session with me. And then in that session, we can really figure out how to personalize this the most for you. And I wanted to mention, as a bonus, when you sign up for level 2, you also get unlimited lifetime access to the Emerging Consciousness Global Online Festival Speaker Series from this past year to use to keep it for yourself or to give as a gift. So I'm really encouraging you to take advantage of this low price now. I know it seems, you've heard this before, but this is the first time and the last time it's going to be offered like this. And it's going to move very quickly at this price. And what you'll receive in terms of transformation is just going to be priceless. On my website, you'll see there are 2 buttons here: join now at level 1 or level 2. And this is all that you will receive: the 24 live group sessions, and they're about 90 minutes each on Thursdays at 1 p.m. on Zoom. And if you can't join live, then the sessions will be recorded. And so I'm going to leave this up for you. And now that you've kind of sensed into what this offering is and what the potential for this is, I'm going to take you through a creative decision-making practice that will help to give you some clarity right now. And it only takes a minute, and it only takes your hands and where you're seated right now. So focus in, and when we're finished with this, I'll take some Q&A for any questions on this program. I see that Kim says this is an amazing program. Thank you, Kim. She's in. Yes, one of those spots are full already. I'm going to take you through this quick process. And I'm going to ask you 2 questions. So really just bring yourself back together here. You may feel enlivened by what you just heard about and what you're thinking about. And bring yourself here. And I'm going to ask you 2 questions. And the first question I'm going to ask you, and instead of responding to me in words, respond to me in a beat, either on your lap or on the table or clapping your hands. So let your body respond rather than your mind through your mouth talking. And I can't hear you. So go for it, okay? And the first question is, imagine yourself saying yes to this opportunity. What do you feel is possible in your life if you do this and you go through this program? And how does it feel, all of these things that you just saw? Did they light you up? If so, then you tapping, whatever kind of beat comes out, feel it into it. What are you feeling? Is this exciting to you? Think about all that it offered. How is it pumping you up? How is it lighting you up? Okay, now make a note of that and let it go. And now I'm going to ask you a second question. Imagine yourself not saying no to this opportunity. What might the next year of your life be like without it? And where might you be in a year from now? Play that out with your hands, clapping, humming. See how that feels. Is the beat slower or faster for the first or second one? And how does it feel to you? Did you get any sense of aliveness or, decision making through that process? Just a quick way to do that. And so I'm just going to remind you again of the fast action bonus, and I'm going to stay on now to take any questions that you have. I know that we went a few minutes over time and some people have to leave, and thank you so much for joining, and feel free to contact me for a free exploratory session so we can talk about how you can apply this to you in your life and whether it's the right fit for you. The buttons are right here on this page. Deb, if you're still here, if you could post that again. And if not, I'm here to take any quick questions for signing off. So thank you so much. Someone says the drum beat got louder. It was chaotic. And she's excited to be part of the program. Great, great. Barbara, thank you. Thank you for coming. I'm glad that you had a great experience. I'm here for you to address any questions you have as your coach in the Learning Lab. Just continued programs, anything. It's been wonderful seeing your name and getting to know you through all of this. So, any questions for me? Dave says it's a great group of great content. Thanks, Dave. Thanks. It's a lot in there, I know. And it's going to be, you're going to peel out just what you need. And what I've done is created a structured yet very open, fluid container so that it's just has the right amount of flexibility. Thank you, Steve. Cool. Good to see you here. All right. I'm just going to stay on for another couple of minutes in case anybody has any other questions or comments about the decision-making technique that we did, that quick little demo. All right, beautiful. Well, feel free to contact me via email or direct message on the Kaleidoscope Lounge page. And I hope you'll take a deeper look at this program and join us on this year-long transformation. I've done this myself, been through this transformational year-long process several times, where the first half I work on myself, the second half I bring it out into the world. And I could say that it is, it's really life-changing. And I'd love to share the journey with you on that. And so my deepest intention is to bring people together, to create a shift in consciousness, and to amplify the power to transform ourselves in the world. And this is the time. We are the people. And I can't wait to begin this adventure with you. So, standing with you in your greatness and honoring you on your path. I'll sign off here. Thank you. Namaste. Thank you. Bye, guys.